All right, you guys, so we are gonna start seated on your mats. So let's go ahead and have a seat on your mat. Sit right in the center of your mat. Remember, if you want a blanket, you can always have a seat on top of that blanket just for a little bit of height under your seat. And then if it's feeling okay for your hips today, go ahead and bring one or both feet up on top of the legs here, finding that lotus position. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna float palms up on the knees. Take a moment, situate through the sits bones. Find your tall posture. Maybe take a moment to roll the shoulders down the back, nice open chest. And then once again, you've got those palms turned up on your knees. Whenever you're feeling comfortable, go ahead and relax the eyes closed. Take a few deep cleansing breaths here. As you inhale, I want you to think about filling your belly up with air. That breath travels up through the rib cage as you expand, breathing space in between each individual rib. Finally, that inhale reaches your chest. And then as you exhale, take it the opposite direction. So release your exhale through the chest, knit the ribs together, and finally feel your belly button pull back towards your spine. So coming into our 3-part yoga breath. Inhales initiate in your belly. It travels up through the ribs, up through the chest. And as you exhale, you release from the chest and knit the ribs together. Pull the belly button back towards your spine. Keep your focus on your breath. Should you have a random thought pass through, just let it continue on. Let it go as quickly as it came without judgment. Taking these first few minutes to just center our body and our breath. And I have you guys with your palms turned up on the knees for a reason. So have those palms turned up on the knees for receiving. So I'm going to offer up a mantra for you. So continuing to focus on your breath. Our mantra for the day is, I am awake. Just pause for a moment, think about that. I am awake. So maybe say it a few times out loud or just internally. I am awake. To be fully present means to be awake. What does being awake mean? It means that you are living with purpose and following your truth. By repeating, I am awake, you open the door to living in the present and evolving into the person you are meant to be. Being fully present is such a powerful way to truly experience every aspect of the moment. When you're fully present on the mat, you fully experience each breath, each movement, and each moment. Take one last big breath here. Let's keep the eyes closed. Turn the palms down on your knees. Just start to tilt the head side to side. So each individual ear reaching down towards the shoulder. We're going to start just a little bit of organic movement here. So if you want to take it into some full head circles, feel free to do so. or maybe some shoulder rolls. Just whatever feels good for you and your body this afternoon. The good news is with these virtual classes, it's just you. No judgment from anyone else. Bring it back to a place of stillness. Softly open your eyes. Reach your right hand down on the mat beside you. Inhale, lift that left arm up by your ear. And as you exhale, side bend. So reach your left fingertips up and over to the right. And maybe walk that right hand a little bit further away from the body. So what you want to feel is that full left side lengthening, maybe breathing space in between the ribs here, really expanding. And if you'd like, float your gaze up and under that left arm. Last big inhale here with your exhale, bring it back to center. Go ahead and change the cross of your legs. And then left hand down on the mat. Inhale, right arm's gonna go up by the ear. And as you exhale, take it to that side bend. And once again, you can walk that left hand a little bit further out, increasing that side bend. And think about an active right arm. So don't just let the right arm hang. Reach. As if I was there to pull your fingertips a little bit more to the left side. Float your gaze up and under that right arm. Big inhale here with your exhale. Go ahead and release. Bring those fingers together. Interlace your fingers. Press your palms away from your body. Sit up tall. Give me a big inhale. Now as you exhale, we're going to open to a twist. So as you exhale, rotate over your right shoulder. Right hand comes behind you. Left hand to the outside of the right knee. Gaze is over that right shoulder. And even though we're twisting through the spine, try to keep your posture lifted, abs pulled up and in. Last big inhale here. Exhale, return it back to center. Interlace your fingers, press your palms away from you. Big inhale here. As you exhale, rotate to the left. Left hand behind you, right hand to the outside of the left knee. Gaze over back of that left shoulder. Staying up tall. Last big inhale here, and with your exhale, return it back to center. Go ahead and bring the soles of your feet together. Start with your feet a little bit further away from your body in our butterfly position. So soles of the feet together, you've got a little bit of space between your heels and your hips. Give me a big inhale, arms out to the side and up. As you exhale, fold yourself over, dive your hands down, and release your head and chest. Now, as you're holding in your butterfly, if you want a little bit more, you can slide your feet in a little bit closer towards your seat, and you'll feel a little bit stronger stretch through those hips and those inner thighs. Otherwise, you're thinking about actively pulling your chest down, fully releasing through the head. Give me one last big inhale here, and with your exhale, slowly restack your spine. Head is last to lift, hands under the knees. Go ahead and draw the knees back together. All right, you guys, go ahead and sacrifice one hip down so we can come onto hands and knees. So spread out through your fingertips, palms under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Give me that inhale breath. Lift the head, lift the hips, let the belly drop into cow. Exhale, tuck your chin, round your spine, pull that belly button back. Inhaling to lengthen into cow. Exhaling to round it back to cat. Now I want you to take a few breaths here, just to your own pace. You're feeling that spine start to warm up, and you should also feel your abdominals start to warm up here. So let's say 3 more to your own pace of breath. Now, as you go to complete that last one, return to a neutral spine. Curl your toes under, shift the hips up and back, and find your first downward dog. So let the head just hang between the arms. If your calves are feeling tight, go ahead and pedal those feet out. Bending into one knee, letting the opposite heel sink. Stretch stretching out through the backs of the legs. Try to press both heels down and then carefully walk your hands back towards your feet and you find yourself in a forward fold. Maybe shake out the head, really release through the upper body, bend through the knees, hands on the shins, slowly start to restack your spine, and head is the last thing you lift. Now we're gonna come to stand in your mountain pose. So, feet are parallel, hip distance apart, arms are out to your sides, palms are facing forward, fingers pointed down. You're in this tall posture, gaze is forward. Shoulders down the back, nice open chest, nice and strong here in our Tadasana. Big inhale, reach your arms out to the side and up. As you exhale, hinge from your hips, fold yourself in half, reach your hands down for the mat. Now from here, let's go ahead and walk it out to our plank. So walk the hands out to your plank position and just hold. So you're holding here in your plank, wrists right under your shoulders, crown of the head reaching forward, belly button pressing back towards your spine. Big inhale. Now as you exhale, we're gonna go through chaturanga. So bend your elbows close to your ribs like a little tricep push-up, bend and lower it down. Inhale, take it to a low cobra. So just the head and chest lifting, elbows squeezing in tight, gazes forward. Exhale, curl the toes under, press it back, find your downward dog. Now from here, walk those hands back towards your feet. Walk it back in 4 steps, and then slowly restack your spine. Head is last to lift. Now again, inhale, arms out to the side and up. Exhale, fold yourself in half, reach your hands for the mat. Walk those hands back out to your plank. Hold. Find that plank position. Inhale it here. Exhale, bend your elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, press into your palms, take it into cobra. Exhale, curl the toes under, shift the hips up and back, find your downward dog. Big inhale here as you exhale, walk those hands back towards your feet, and let's slowly restack your spine. Head is last to lift. Now feet are still parallel, hip distance apart. Hands are gonna come onto your hips, and you're gonna step that right foot forward. We're gonna come into a lunge. So right foot is forward, curl the left toes under so your left heel is lifted. Now double check that your right knee is stacked above that right ankle. So you've got that 90-degree bend, you're up nice and tall. We're taking it into our crescent warrior. So inhale, sweep those arms up by your ears and hold. So fingertips are reaching up towards the sky, shoulders are dropped down the back, chest is open. And maybe you slide that left foot a little further back and sink the hips a little lower. But notice that right knee isn't going past the toes, it's stacked right on top of the ankle. Give me a big inhale here. As you exhale, twist that left heel down, open yourself into warrior 2. So your right heel is in alignment with that left inner part of the foot. Right fingertips are reaching forward. Your gaze is following those right fingertips. Left arm is active behind you. Breathing as you hold. Think about your tailbone reaching down towards the mat. Sink a little lower. Big inhale here. As you exhale, start to bend your right elbow. Bring your right elbow to the top of your right thigh. Inhale, sweep that left arm up by your ear into lateral angle. Now you've got options here for your lateral angle. If it's feeling good for you today, that right hand can come all the way down onto the mat. If you want to take it one step further, wrap that left hand behind your lower back. So coming into somewhat of a bind. And if you're feeling really crazy, float the right hand off the ground, right hand and left hand meet, so that they're holding right around that right thigh in your bind. So wherever you are, hold it here, one more breath. We're all gonna meet, right elbow back on the thigh, left arm up by the ear, and then press it back to that warrior 2. So gazes down those right fingertips. That right thigh should be feeling all of that work. Let's take it to a revolved warrior. Inhale, slide that left arm down the left leg. Right arm goes up towards the ceiling. Gaze follows and hold. So you're opening through your chest. Eyes are on that right hand. Left hand slides a little further down the left leg. Big inhale here. Exhale, take it back to that warrior two. Now legs are gonna stay in that same position, just straighten that right leg. So no more bend in the knee, right leg is straight, arms still reaching out. Start to reach your right fingertips forward as you press the hips back. So arms are going forward, hips are going back until we slide into triangle. So left arm goes up, right hand connects on the mat. If it's not connecting, you can always bring your right hand onto your shin, ankle, top of the foot, wherever works. But try to stack your shoulders one on top of the other, and you're trying to open those hips up. Gaze up at that hand. Give me one last big inhale here. Now as you exhale, start to reach that left hand down to meet the right. We're gonna take it into a little pyramid pose. So rotate your hips so that the right toes and the left toes are both pointing forward. Hands are framing the right foot and nose is pressing down towards your right knee. So if you need to bump that left foot a little closer, you always can. The thing you want to be mindful of is that left hip. So try to actively press that left hip forward as you press the right hip back. So you're trying to square your hips and then release the nose down towards your right knee. Double check you're not locking out through the legs. Make sure you're breathing here. Start to shift the weight into that right foot and find your runner's lunge here. So right knee is bent, left toes curled under, left heel is lifted. You're right in that runner's lunge position. We're gonna do a quick switch here. So hands down on your mat, you're still in that runner's lunge. Press into your palms, give me a quick switch of the legs. So you've hopped that right leg back, left foot is forward, and then rise on up. Arms up high to the sky, and you're back in our crescent warrior. So you guys stay as is. I'm just gonna rotate around here. So you're in that crescent warrior. So left knee is stacked above your left ankle. Right heel is lifted. Arms are framing your ears. Nice proud chest, shoulders down the back, fingertips reaching up high to the sky. Now from here, we're gonna take it into our warrior two. So rotate your hips forward. Lower your right heel down. Make sure your left heel is in alignment with the center of your right foot. Arms open, gaze goes down your left fingertips. So you think shoulders stacked on top of the hips, hips pressing forward, fingertips reaching. Now we're gonna take it into our lateral angle. So inhale, bend that left elbow to the top of the left thigh. Sweep that right arm up by your ear, hold. And we're going to go through the same progressions here. You stop wherever it feels okay for you. So first progression, taking the left hand all the way down to the mat. Notice one side might feel a little bit more challenging. Other option, wrapping that right hand behind the lower back. Final option, taking that bind, left and right fingers clasping, and you have that hold on your left thigh. Last big breath here. We're all gonna meet. Left elbow on the thigh, right arm up by the ear, and press it back up to that warrior two. Now here's where we take it to our revolved warrior. Right arm's gonna start to go down the right leg. Left arm goes up high to the sky. Gaze follows, open your chest. Breathe. It can be a little bit challenging to hold in our heart openers. So think about your breath. Sink a little lower into your posture. Maybe reach those fingertips back a little further. And slowly bring it back up to that warrior two. Now straighten into that left leg. Hips still squared, shoulders on top of the hips. Reach your left fingertips forward as your hips go back. So right hip's pressing back, left hand's reaching forward, and then take it into triangle. So left arm goes down, right arm goes up, stack your shoulders, open your chest, and then once again, left hand can go on the shin, foot, or all the way down on the mat. Take your gaze up towards your right fingertips. Big inhale here. Now as you exhale, bring the right hand down towards the mat. Connect both hands, turn so the right toes are facing in that same direction as the left. Square your hips. So right hip presses forward, left hip presses back into pyramid. Release nose towards your knee. Hands are framing that left foot. Last big inhale here. Last big exhale, release the head a little closer towards the knee. Now from here, bring that left hand so it's beside the right. So both hands are to the inside of that left foot. We're gonna rotate. So both toes are pointing forward. So hips are squared, you're in our wide leg forward fold. Toes are pointing forward, hands are down on the mat, and head is releasing down. So we're just holding here for a minute. If you want, you can bend through the knees, finding a little squat, and then extend back. If that feels okay, I find that with each time I can pull the crown of my head a little bit closer towards the mat, which is what we're looking for. So you think about the crown of your head reaching down towards the mat, tailbone reaching up towards the sky. Hold the legs straight. Left hand is going to come directly underneath your throat, so it's centered. We're going to go into a little twist. So big inhale, reach that right arm up and take your gaze to follow. Now notice your hips for a minute. So you want to keep the hips level. That right hip, it wants to lift. Try to keep them level with one another as you gaze up towards your right hand. Inhale it here. Exhale, bring the right hand down. Inhale, sweep the left arm up. Gaze up towards those left fingers. Now once again, try to keep those hips level with one another. Go ahead and bring that left hand down, both hands down. Try to pull the crown of the head a little bit closer to that mat. And then give me that bend in your knees. Now feet might need to come in a little bit closer. Maybe toe ball it in a few steps. Let your toes turn out. So you've got that external rotation. Carefully sink your seat down lower, and let's take it into our little yoga squat. So elbows are actively pressing your knees out. So it is a huge stretch for those hips and those inner thighs. Now you might be a lot higher, that's okay, but all the while you're thinking about your tailbone pulling down towards the mat. Palms are pressing in towards one another, elbows pressing the knees apart. Breathe it here, one last big breath. Carefully bring your hands down onto the mat to help you come to a seated position. All right, you guys, so we're gonna go ahead and lay down. So go ahead and lay yourself down on your mat, and we're gonna go into some bridging here. So once you're laying down on your mat, ground your feet into the mat, pull your heels in towards your seat, take your arms down long beside you. Give me a big inhale here. As you exhale, lift it up into your bridge position and hold. So we're holding here in your bridge, and you have options. So arms can stay down long beside you, that's fine. If you want a little bit more height, wrap your shoulder blades towards one another, come up a little higher, and interlace your fingers behind your lower back. So you'll feel the hips go up higher, and you'll feel the tops of your thighs start to fire a little bit more. Now your last and final progression here is to go into our full wheel. So even if wheel isn't a part of your practice, you can also just play around with it a little bit. So if you're interested in trying it, release back out of that bridge. If you're not trying wheel, go ahead and stay up for me. Bring your hands back behind your head, elbows pointing up towards the ceiling. Feet are grounded. You're gonna give me a giant big inhale. As you exhale, press into your hands, Press into your feet and lift up to that wheel. Now wherever you are, you're breathing as you hold. We're feeling that backside body start to fire. We're gonna do one more big breath here. If you're in that wheel, carefully bend your elbows, bring the back of the head, shoulders, spine, and hips down. If you're still in our bridge position, carefully release it. One vertebra at a time. Hips are last to touch. Separate the feet out mat distance. Let your knees fall into one another, and you should feel your lower back relax down into the mat. Take a breath here. And then we're gonna go into some shoulder stand or some plow here. So bring the legs back together. Extend them up towards the ceiling. Legs are zipped. Now you do have to use a little bit of momentum to get yourself up there. Give me a big inhale. As you exhale, lift the hips. Hands come behind the lower back and legs are up high to the sky. So shoulder stand to start. Point through your toes. Squeeze through your glutes. Now here's where we have the option of taking it into plow. So you can fold yourself over, reach your toes back behind your head if it feels okay. If not, you can stay right up in shoulder stand, your choice. And if none of this is feeling good for you, you guys, you can always keep your hips down and just hold your legs up towards the ceiling. It's still a little bit of an inversion. Still get the same benefits. Now, if you're in that plow position, take the legs back up to shoulder stand and hold. So toes are pointed, legs are straight up. Now, as slow as you can go, start to release. So you're gonna go down one single vertebra at a time. So you can feel your spine, it's like a string of pearls, releasing down piece by piece. As you get lower, it gets harder. Abs have to fire so that you don't just collapse down. Hips are last to touch and release the feet down. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give me a few rocks side to side. Getting that nice little spinal massage. Go ahead and separate your feet out mat distance. Open your arms out to a T, palms up. Drop your knees to the left. And then turn your gaze to the right. So a little spinal twist here. Return the knees back to center. Drop your knees to the right. Take your gaze to the left. Maybe starting to relax, the eyes closed. Bring the knees back in and then extend your legs out long for Shavasana. So legs out, let them separate, let the feet fall open. Arms go down by your sides, take them a little away from your body. Flip your palms up and then relax your eyes closed. Start to reconnect with that 3-part breath. So inhale's initiating in the belly. Let that breath travel up. And then as you exhale, release from the chest first and let it travel down. Relax all 10 of the toes. Relax through the ankles, through the shins, through the thighs, through the hips, through the abdomen, through the chest, through the arms, through every single finger, through the throat, the mouth, the eyes, the eyebrows, full body just release. Surrendering into the mat and into the earth. Slowly start to wiggle fingers and toes. Small organic movements here. Gradually make those movements a little bit larger. Keep the eyes closed. Reach those arms back behind your head as if you're waking up from a deep and peaceful sleep. And then whenever you're ready, roll onto your right side into a fetal position. Keeping the eyes closed, making as little movement as possible. Make your way back up into a cross-legged seated position, just like how we started. Palms up on the knees. Taking these last few breaths to reflect on your practice, how your body is feeling, and maybe bringing it back to that mantra from the beginning. I am awake. Bring the hands together at heart center. Softly open the eyes. Namaste. The light in me honors, respects, and loves the light in each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, you guys. I appreciate you. Much love.